G'day everyone, welcome to Rule of Reason. I've taken a few days just to get my head around what I thought of the election, and I know there's lots of people talking about what they think did happen, why the result was what it was. I don't think I'm going to be able to provide much better insight than, say, the experts, but I'm going to do my best to summarize what I think happened. And then I'm going to spend some time talking about what to come next, because Rule of Reason is not just about politics, although it has been the last couple of weeks. That's purely because of the Australian election. But yeah, I want you to know what you can expect in the coming weeks, months from the show, and show you that it's not just about things like politics that a lot of people don't like to talk about, but it's also about life and all the things that affect your life. So anyway, look, the Australian election, I don't think the Labor Party won it so much as the Liberal Party lost it. And I think there's a number of reasons for that, and I probably can't really put my finger on what was the most important reason for that. Everyone seems to have their own opinion on what is the most important factor. But look, this is the way I see it. I think the last 12 months or so have been a little bit crazier than potentially normal for Western society. And I think a lot of people just decided they wanted stability. And it's always been my opinion that people won't change the current government unless the alternative is much better. Because if all you're going to get is exactly the same, you might as well leave it. And I think that was part of the reason. I don't think, well, personally, I think the Labor Party is terrible, but I don't think the Liberal Party offered a good alternative. And so a lot of people just thought, well, I'm just going to continue to vote the way that I have. Now, that doesn't explain why it was such a dramatic victory. And I think, personally, the two factors are, one, that point I just made about people wanting stability and not wanting crazy. That's where the Greens lost it, because the Greens are crazy. And so they've lost their seats. Any of the more extreme teals, as they call them here, seem to have lost their seats as well for that reason. But the final point that I decided, and I think it was evidenced first in Canada, and it was a warning sign, sort of too little too late for the Liberal Party, was Donald Trump has scared a lot of people in America with the way that he's doing things. And so any government that, I guess, comes across as looking the same as him, we're always going to lose votes. And I think the Liberal Party would have been considered the Trumpian party. I mean, aside from the Trumpet of Patriots, who almost literally named themselves after him, and evidently they got no seats. But yeah, I think the Liberal Party were really hurt by Donald Trump. And so, yeah, the result wasn't good for the Liberal Party, and they're hurting. Now, do I think this is bad? No, I don't. I think, as I said in my last post, no matter what the result of the election, it is not the end of the world. There's some policies that are concerning, that are going to cost our economy a lot. And it's going to increase the already eye-watering debt, which is going to be a problem for future generations. But I could be wrong. So we'll wait and see. As far as the Liberal Party is concerned, it hurts now, but I don't think this is a bad thing. I think there are probably a number of people that were rusted on that probably needed to go. I think the Liberal Party's lost their way over the last 5 years at least. And if you were to hold up the core values of their party against what they stand for, I think you would find that they don't really stand for that anymore. And I think that's probably one other thing that lost for them is no one really knew what they were standing for. I mean, they pushed pretty hard on nuclear, and that was always going to be polarizing. But I just think they were too scared to upset people, so they didn't stand for what they believe in. And if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for everything, and they fell hard. So I think what they need to do is have a real clean out. Pick, if they can, good quality people to be the good future leaders of this country who have integrity and courage to stand for what the party was originally set up for, 80 years ago. So the Liberal Party has a chance to fix themselves, but I think they're going to be out for a couple of more terms now because they lost so badly. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. What's next? Well, as I said, this show isn't just about politics, it's about life. It's about how we live, it's how we interact with one another, it's how we interact with the world around us. And I want to just help make common sense common again. I want to talk about things that are helpful for you, helpful for me. I want to interview people. I want to start doing interviews, and just interviews of really inspiring people who were up against it and came out on top, and talk about what they did to overcome the odds. I think there's a lot that we can learn from people that were faced with hard times, terrible circumstances, and yet managed to push through. So hopefully that's all coming as well. I'll probably delve a little deeper into the first 5 or 6 episodes that I did, that for those of you that may not have seen it, talked about personal responsibility and gratitude and perspective, finding a meaning in life, etc. Because they're all foundations of a good life. So I think it's good that we keep covering those topics. I want to talk about, well, I'm probably going to address a number of things that Andrew Tate talks about. If you do or don't know him, he's a very polarizing figure. The thing I find funny about Andrew Tate, other than I think he's just playing a big game, is a lot of the things that he says, in principle, are common sense. But he then takes it to the extreme and says that women are stupid and blah, blah, blah. And so his message is missed in the fact that he just says some crazy things. So we'll talk about that. So modern masculinity, modern femininity, talk about social media's impact on young people and society in general. And one that's really important to me, and it's probably one I'm going to talk about a lot, is family, community. What role does the family have in modern society? How do we build good societies? And that comes from strong, healthy families. So there's a lot of things to talk about through that. I also want to do a few series on simple or breaking down into plain English things like economics, media manipulation, talking about the legal system and whether it's broken or not, global energy, and then one that I'm really passionate about, both excited and potentially scared, is AI and robotics, because I think that future is rushing towards us and we need to be ready for it. So that's definitely something that I want to talk about. My kids certainly love to talk about it, so it's in my best interest to understand it so that I can talk to them about it. I want to talk on a spiritual level to what people are labeling this age of lack of meaning, this nihilism, having no purpose in life, where that's come from, how to overcome it, and how people seem lost and confused and they're searching for the answer, but quite often the answers are in things that we've known for thousands of years, but people have just forgotten it. So, whether religion is for you or not, those topics will be really helpful regardless. And then one of the final things I'll talk about is the election's over, but your involvement in politics is not. And this is what I've mentioned before, that politics is a participation sport. So if you want to get the most out of your government, you need to be involved. So we'll talk about how to be involved, how to talk to your members, how to petition, and really get the most out of the next 3 years before the next election. So there's a lot to unpack there, there's a lot to talk about, but one thing I can say post-election is I'm positive. I think there's no reason to be despondent or dismayed at the result. When you can come down to the beach like I'm able to today, which is lovely. It's a beautiful sunny day. Focus on the things to be grateful for, because life is beautiful. You just have to focus on the right things. Thanks for sticking with me today, guys. I'm excited for what's coming next, and I'll see you next time on Rule of Reason. See ya.